Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect, episode 230. We are recording this on Sunday, October 22nd, 2017. I'm David Lotz. Joining me this week is Jascha Wilson.
Hey.
And Michelle Hillard.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Dude, the music is back.
The music.
Woo-hoo! Music.
What are you talking about? The music never went anywhere.
I know, but it's been a far in between, I guess, since I've heard it for one of the intros before we started recording, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. When actually recording, yeah, you're right.
Before the magic starts.
It's been a hit or miss on that one.
Before the magic starts, yes. Well said, Michelle. Well said.
Yeah.
Bobby is out this week. He is.
Bobby Jackson.
He's not here. I got nothing else.
He's just not here.
He's not here.
Which is kind of sad, because he's like always here. I mean, it's sad when any of us are gone, but I'm like, wow. Oh, Bobby's not here?
There's an imbalance in the force when Bobby's not here.
A little bit. It's a little bizarre.
It is a little weird.
I feel a little awkward.
Well, I guess we can jump right into it. Sorry we missed the show last week. Things just got busy. And yeah, that's all I got. So we're back this week. We're ready to talk about some stuff. And unless you guys have anything to start off with, we'll just jump right into those good old box office numbers. So starting at number 10 this week, Kingsman: The Golden Circle in its fifth week in release pulled in $3 million, bringing its total up to about $95 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Not great, but
it's not stellar, especially like sitting here looking at this chart and the budgets, according to this, was 104.
Yeah. It's kind of disheartening to hear that.
Yeah. Number 9 this week was American Made in its fourth week in release, a little over $3 million. A new release was at number 8. I don't think any of us saw this. The Snowman.
Nope.
With about $3.5 million. It at number 7 in its seventh week in release with $3.5 million. The Foreigner at number 6 with about $5.5 million. Another new release at number 5, Only the Brave, with $6 million. I'm going to fully admit I don't even know what that is.
I was gonna say I don't know what that. Oh, it's with the firefighters. That really big one that happened like 7 years ago.
Okay.
In California, like the really big, like, and I'm saying that currently there's insanity fires happening now.
Oh yeah.
But the last like ridiculous one where like 13 guys went up and like, yeah, that one.
Josh Brolin, Miles Teller. Yeah, that one. Sorry, I didn't realize that was the title for some reason. I guess that shows how much I cared about that film, unfortunately. Right. At number 4 this week was Blade Runner 2049 in its third week in release, only pulling in a little over $7 million, bringing its total to about $74 million. That's not so great for this movie that cost quite a bit of money to make.
It's sad.
And it bumps me out because, goddamn, I really like that movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, Jascha, have you still not seen it, or did you see it yet?
No, man, I haven't gotten a chance to see it, and it makes me sad because I was really excited to see the movie. I've just been so busy. I'm sorry. I'll let you down.
You were part of the problem, Jascha.
Yeah.
I'm part of the problem.
You were not part of the answer. You were part of the problem.
Okay, so my $650 that I'll spend on this movie is really going to make that much of a difference.
You never know, dude.
Just saying, when everybody takes that attitude, we get numbers like this.
I'll go and see it and then tell people, it's like, hey, you need to see this movie. Boom. And a miraculous turnaround. Jascha Wilson resurrected how good Blade Runner 2049 is going to do.
Yeah. I would love to see that headline. That would make you warm and fuzzy inside.
I would be so excited. I wouldn't even know what to say.
Right.
Number 3 this week, Happy Death Day. New horror film. Well, not I say new, but it's in its second week. With a little over $9 million. And then we got a couple new releases at 1 and 2. At number 2, Geostorm Yeah, man, did that look like a winner?
Oh my gosh, the end of the world.
God, every time
bad.
Every time a trailer came up for that, oh my God, I just put my head in my hands, just like, is this really happening?
I mean, it doesn't
It's not a joke.
It just literally doesn't even look like a good end of the world film. Like it just looks.
God,
It
just
looks
really.
bad.
It looks like somebody made this back in the late '90s or something and forgot to release it, or.
Right, like they stumbled upon the footage. Like, that one.
We made that movie.
You know what? We kind of got a gap in this one weekend. Let's just throw that out there. Let's do that.
I feel, that could have been said better, David. Just like sitting there looking at it, just like, oh, where's Bob? He was supposed to release this. God damn it, Bob.
Yeah. It's like somebody just totally forgot. Like it was just sitting in the archive somewhere, and they went, "Oh, did we ever did we do that? Oh shit, we dropped the ball." Dude,
that was supposed to be between Independence Day and the 13th day or whatever. Like,
right.
It's supposed to be in there.
They're like, shit. Oh, they all sat around this room and went, "Oh shit. Well, we still gotta make some money on it, right?"
Yeah, right. Yeah. Not doing well though, so
good. I haven't seen it, but good. At number 1 this week, Tyler Perry's Boo 2, A Medea Halloween.
Yes.
With 21.6.
Bravo, because the movie only cost.
And you didn't even see this.
Do you know what's hilarious about this? Is I remember when the first Tyler Perry's Boo Medea Halloween came out, and I wanted to see that one.
You did.
I did. I totally wanted to see that one. Never saw it. Saw the trailer for this one. I was like, I totally want to see this. Still haven't seen it. I'm horrible. Like, I'm like, God, it looks.
And then I would say you're part of the problem, except these movies make money. So, especially considering their budget anyway.
Yeah,
right.
He's already made $21 million. Guaranteed, he pulls in another $10 million next weekend.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, like, I have to say, I mean, for the most part, I really enjoy Tyler Perry films. I take them at face value, and I just kind of go in and just, I don't know. The Medea films are just fun for me. Why not? And the Halloween one just looks stupid fun. Like, just over the top ridiculousness. Like, I don't know why, but they look great to me. I'm all for them. And I still haven't seen them, and I'm such a loser.
I was going to say,
you would just advertise it as such. It's like, do you need an easy movie to watch? Something that you can leave and come back to 20 minutes later and completely not miss anything of the plot. Right. By all means, give this movie a shot. Medea, Boo 2. Exactly. You don't need to know the rest of the title.
Exactly.
It's there. Something just crazy, just off the cuff.
No, that's totally it. Yeah.
What's funny is you say that about the Medea, the Boo Medea Halloween films. I don't know that I've seen a Tyler Perry film.
No, shut the front door. Are you serious right now?
I don't think.
Not any Tyler Perry movie.
I'm looking him up now. I'm looking up his
really?
library. I mean, I'm talking the ones he's made, of course. I've seen movies with him in it.
Dude, Diary of a Black Madwoman is.
Yeah.
That one's pretty stellar.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I Can Do Bad All by Myself, I think, is another one that's really good. These are all the ones that he did, like when they're plays that they're already written. He just funding. Then it's like, oh well, I'm gonna make this into like full movies.
So I wasn't a big fan of Family Reunion, but there's another one where is it class reunion? Like I do it by myself.
Yeah, I'm looking through this list, and no, I've never seen one.
There's another one that I enjoyed.
I have never seen a Tyler Perry movie.
Really?
Nope. I'm not saying that like I have anything against him or anything. It just hasn't happened.
I gotta say, Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah,
if you're gonna watch any of them, that one hands down, it's good. You gotta see that one. Family Reunion's not bad. It's definitely not my. It's definitely no Diary, but it's good.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm a failure. Did he? Oh, okay. There it is. So wait, I'm confused.
What?
Yeah, Diary of a Mad Black Woman was good. Anyways, moving on.
What was Diary? Did that go in theaters? The way it's listed on IMDb is odd.
No, it was in theaters. I mean, it's a play. He wrote a lot of these. Yeah. And they were plays, and then he converted them to film.
Yep. Nope. Sorry, I've not seen any Tyler Perry movies. I fail.
I mean, It's not like he's the new Spielberg of our time. But I don't know. They're entertaining. They have their valuable moments.
Oh,
they really do. Especially the early ones. They're very
the early ones, yeah.
All right, well, as you could tell as I raced through that box office list, that we didn't see any of these movies.
We are lame.
Except for the ones we'd already talked about, like Blade Runner. And,
right.
So let's talk about movies that we haven't seen.
Let's talk about movies. Well, I could talk about a movie that is on the list, but it's way down there at number 18. It's an
independent film.
Yeah. Michelle and I both saw The Florida Project. Which, it's down there at 18 on the box office list. This week it pulled in 636,000. But it's only on 112 screens. So,
it's an independent film. It's a Studio A24. So they're kind of known for these kind of projects, basically. And I say projects. It was a project. And you should talk about it.
Yeah, we saw that. It's directed by Sean Baker. He directed Tangerine, which I saw, which I really liked. Did you ever see that?
I didn't. I remember you said you liked that one, and I did want to see Tangerine.
Actually, I think I own the digital copy of that. I think that was one of those situations where when I went to see it before one of our top 10 shows, it was like $10 to buy it. I'm like, screw it, I just bought it.
Yeah.
And it's good.
No, I've heard it's good.
So it's directed by Sean Baker. It is based right here in Orlando, right outside of Walt Disney World. It is about kind of the world of people that live in some of the more kind of touristy rundown hotels outside of Walt Disney World along kind of the 192 corridor and such.
I would say the focus is the motel kids.
And it's mostly told through the eyes of this young girl who lives in the hotel with her mom. It stars Willem Dafoe. He's the biggest name that you'll recognize in the film. Probably the only person you'd recognize.
Probably the only person who recognize that film. Yeah.
As I say that, I'm like, wait, was there anybody else you'd recognize?
No, everybody else was all fresh cast.
Yeah. But Willem Dafoe plays a manager for the hotel, or the manager, not the owner. And the little girl in the film is, I guess, a local girl, I think from Winter Springs, if I remember correctly, Brooklyn Prince. And
the director saw her on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Is that the story?
Yeah. I know, random. But yeah, she's an Orlando girl from Winter Springs.
Nice. And it's been getting a lot of buzz, critically anyway. Yeah. I have definitely, as scrolling through my kind of typical film news feeds and stuff on Facebook and such, I've at least a couple of times seen the headline of, oh, this will be the best movie you've seen all year. So definitely caught my attention. I think caught our attention. It's playing at the local art house theater here, and it's packed. I mean,
my God.
We went on a Tuesday night, and it was a packed house.
There's a line. We've been to that theater before, and we've gone to films that the theater fills up. I mean, it's an art house. It's not a very big theater.
Right.
But I have yet to go to a movie there to see a line almost wrapped around the side of the building.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. And all I kept thinking was, thank God we have reserved seats.
It reminded me of there's definitely here and there movies that show up at that theater that are more popular than others.
I agree.
But when I saw The Line, it reminded me of the days back when Blair Witch was playing there, because Blair Witch was basically a local film, and that theater was one of the first theaters to show it, and it was a crazy, insane Blair Witch project bonanza there for like a good month. Of just
because the director's from
lines.
Here, right?
Yeah, they were both UCF students, I think.
Right.
But anyway, Florida Project. What did you think, Michelle?
Oh no, I think you should talk about it first.
No, I got you.
Oh. Okay, so Florida Project. I mean, it's weird because I'm hesitating. You guys are like, oh, she hated it, and I really enjoyed this film. I guess the best way is to start with that. I really enjoyed this film. It takes a little bit to kind of get into, and I think it's because it's from the eyes and perspective of she's probably like 6 years old, 7 years old at most, maybe.
I think so.
Like,
I think 6-year-old.
Yeah,
it says right there.
It's a 6-year-old's perspective. So, and it just kind of jumps into an average day. Like it really just rolls right into one of her days, during a summer break from school, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. Just it takes a minute to kind of get into the flow of the way the film is done, but it's done really well, and the way the whole story unfolds is just so revealing as to kind of, I don't know, it's kind of just the way that I think we maybe as adults perceive things and maybe as outsiders would perceive things would be so much different than the way she's perceiving her storyline of what's going on in her world, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's almost, I don't want to say jarring, but it's just kind of, it takes a while to kind of get into that for a minute, at least for me it was. But it's funny because it's like I'm watching and I'm like, wow, it's pretty visually striking, you know, and there's no like effects or anything. It's all just natural colors that are happening down on Highway 192 here in Orlando, and you know, with the hotels and the skyline and the sky actually itself, even just, I don't know, it was like almost like a dangerous beauty to it all. Like it looks really pretty, but you're like, it doesn't look quite right. I don't know, it's weird, but it's like I can't really talk that much about it because I feel like it reveals a lot of the film and what it is. The little girl does a really great job, and seeing the relationship between her and her mother it's very interesting. And I don't know. I think for me, a lot of it, I was sitting there thinking that this film is getting a lot of high praise, and I think a lot of it is very well deserved, but a lot of it I think is bizarre for me because this situation of people that are living in these little motels and trying to survive off of extremely low income, if not any low income. You know, like, I know it exists, but I think everybody just so associates this area with just magic and beauty and Disney and Universal and, you know, like, what could go wrong here? And nobody here is like anybody else anywhere else in America. Everybody here is like on some certain like level. And I think that's how a lot of people look at us in a weird way, or that's kind of the generalized assumption. And this really shatters that completely, like shatters the hell out of that image. And I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it, and yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say. It was just kind of, it is a film that it kind of sits with you and you think about it for a while. And yeah, I don't know. That was really good. I have to say also, Willem Dafoe was really good. He brings like, there's not a lot of depth to his character, and yet there is at the same time, because you're not seeing a lot of him, but you empathize with him in his situation, and he's trying to do the best that he can. So I don't know. I would recommend people to go see it if they have the opportunity to see this film, to definitely watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was. I thought it lived up to the hype for me. The little bit of hype I had seen. I hadn't read any reviews, but I had seen the headlines, like I just mentioned. And no, I thought it was pretty effective. Because we talked about a little bit about what you just said right after the movie. Because our first takeaway as locals, as we walked out of this movie, was we found ourselves thinking as we watched it that this is good, but I feel like maybe a lot of the praise also comes from people who don't live in this area and don't know anything about this. But for someone like us who, you know, we're aware of it, we know these areas, we get it, it's not that odd to us. A lot of the aspects of it are just more like, oh yeah, we know the helicopters and we know the, you know, the birds and blah blah blah, and that kind of stuff was just like, yeah, that's
like abandoned condos and
almost everyday life, you know.
Right.
So, you know, part of it was a lot, as are people outside of our area probably enjoying this film more than those of us who live here and are aware of it. And I do kind of get that feeling, but at the same time, yeah, after the movie, it kind of sat with me for a while, and I kept thinking about it. And no, it's quite good. It's quite effective on how it tells it from this little girl's point of view, who is kind of looking at everything and this kind of fantasy, like everything's great. Look, I live in this cool hotel with all these other kids there. and we know how to get free ice cream down the street, and we got fireworks that we can see from our motel almost every night, basically. And hey, this is awesome. And it does a good job of having these scenes where, from this girl's perspective, everything should be absolutely hunky-dory and there should be nothing, it should be a harmless situation. But really, the film does a good job of revealing that, oh no, these are actually terrible things that she's living under that she doesn't even realize it's happening. And some of those things are obvious right from the beginning. Other things, it does a good job of going, oh wow, we thought this was nothing, and it's actually more than that. And it's kind of that parallel of the situation of, for people who are tourists here and think, like you said, that everything about Orlando is hunky-dory and beautiful and magic and theme parks and what have you, but people are ignoring that this kind of situation is actually going on.
Oh yeah, and has been for ever.
So no, I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was really well done. I really liked the movie a lot. So yeah, I highly recommend it. If you're listening to this and you live in Orlando, it's still playing here. Go see it while you can.
Yeah, and it's at other houses nationwide. But I mean, yeah, like it's gone to a few festivals, and the critics are really eating it up. People are definitely saying that they're hoping to see this pop up a few times during award season, and I could see it happening for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. What else? I also, and I think you saw it as well, Michelle, saw the new documentary on HBO, Spielberg.
Yes.
I don't think you saw that yet, Jascha, have you?
I have not.
There's a new Spielberg documentary on HBO. It's directed by Susan Lacey, and it's a kind of a traditional documentary about Spielberg and his filmmaking career and how he got started. And for me, Spielberg is, I feel like, especially as I was watching this, and I mean, it's not like I didn't already know this, but it's like I start to remember that I'm like, it's kind of crazy that this guy's films basically helped shape my childhood,
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe, like, when you watch this and you see more things about his life and things from his perspective, like, that's crazy to think that, like, this guy had such an influence on so many people, and it so easily just could not have happened, like he really basically became a filmmaker by making it happen himself, like by sneaking onto the Universal lot all the time and learning from other filmmakers. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so crazy to think like what an influence this guy had on so many people, including me, I think you, Michelle. And I can't think. Because we talked about that too, Jascha, when we saw Spielberg at Hall H this year in Comic-Con for Ready Player One. And yeah, it's crazy to think, like, God, I can't imagine if Spielberg didn't direct all the films that helped me like get through my childhood. I can't imagine if those films weren't there.
He's just such an icon of film and the film industry nowadays. I mean, like, if you just walked up to people on the street and you were like, name one film director, I guarantee you 90% of the people would throw out his name. He's just, I don't know. He made a lot of films, and he actually, in a way, I think he kind of molded Hollywood in a lot of different ways, especially in like the 90s, like the late 80s, early 90s. Like, he was doing some things that other filmmakers were still kind of on the fence about doing, and he was like, no, let's just do that. And then, yeah, now it's like industry standards, practically. Yeah. Now you're like, oh, you're not doing that? What the hell's wrong with you? Like, and it's weird to think that this guy who, I mean, all he ever wanted to do was make films. Like, that was very clear. But at the same time, like, he's just kind of an average nerdy dude. Like, you're watching it and you're like, he's just kind of an average guy. Nothing too flashy or spectacular about him or really his life, But I don't know. And I think it just, as luck would have it, he was really coming of age and within his field. And he was just in the right area at the right time, and he wound up meeting just the right people. And he had this group of other directors And they're all crazy famous film directors. I mean, like, to think that all of them were just sitting around eating pizza and bullshitting and watching each other's films and helping critique them and giving suggestions and playing off of each other, you know? He's hanging out with Ryan De Palma and Scorsese and, I mean, obviously George Lucas and the other guy, and I can't think of it, Coppola. Like, they're all just hanging out, shooting the shit in California, making their films, and they're all, you know, showing each other's films and giving feedback. And it's like hearing these stories, I'm like, dude, like he came in to this at the right time. Like, it all just, the stars all aligned for these directors and him as well. And so then, yeah, like those experiences and that knowledge and education and his dedication to what he does and his craft, like you see that in just every film. And I'm saying he has kind of an average life. I mean, things happen to him, but you know, he grew from them and he created films to work through his happiness, sadness, grief, guilt, whatever he was feeling. He created films around those emotions, you know, and he did this instead of a different outlet, you know, instead of, you know, going to therapy, I guess, you know, and it's just interesting to see.
If you just take it and like look at like some, like the first maybe 5 or 6 movies that he made, by all intents and purposes, you can say it's like they really did shape, you know, everybody's childhood, and everybody, I'm guaranteed, has seen at least one, if not all, of these movies. You got Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1941, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then E.T. Like, seriously, those movies are some of the first few movies that I remember seeing that really like stuck, like really, really stuck. I mean, I was a little older when I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I remember seeing Jaws being terrified. I remember seeing E.T. in the theater and just being blown away as a kid. You know, in Close Encounters of the Third Kind is the same thing. It's just like, you know, these are iconic films that everybody in, you know, anybody who watches movies will say, oh yeah, I've seen that movie. That's a pretty good movie. Or yeah, oh, I really love that movie. That type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's, and this documentary, you know, doesn't really shed like crazy epiphanies upon the history of Spielberg and what he's done, but it definitely kind of gives you a little bit more insight on things, you know, like, and I feel like I learned this at some point in time and whatever, but you really realize that Jaws, like, dude, Jaws should not have, like, barely fucking happened. Like, Jaws barely happened, and it did, and it all worked out, but like, and then it wound up being this huge, almost Hitchcockian psycho film. Like, it literally took on life. Some people were literally afraid to get into lakes, like, not let alone an ocean. Like, the film struck terror into people's lives, and it's so funny because I think I was little, and not little, but I would say I was younger, as in my youth, and I would watch Jaws, and I'd be like, God, he's so genius with these shots and not really showing the shark and all this. And they're like, yeah, basically the shark wasn't working, and so we just had to come up with a different way. Like, everything was just done out of like necessity. They're like, yeah, the shark basically shot the shit and was dead, and so we basically had to do things completely different just to make it work. And it's like, you look at the film, you're like, well, that's genius. And you're like, oh, everything was done because of this. And it's just, in some ways, it is kind of mind-blowing. You're like, oh, wow, interesting. So it's like you kind of get a little bit of the veil pulled back on some things, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, just to hear him talk about how he did E.T. and to just talk about what it meant to him, and to really just kind of learn a little bit more to each film and what it was to him and how he came to that point and how he didn't execute it. It was very interesting. It was very intriguing.
Yeah, I think one of my takeaways too from it is it's easy as someone who grew up watching his movies and loving them and being influenced by them, and now knowing, you know, all the wide range of amazing films that he's made, it's easy to forget that, like, in those early days, it's not like he was looked at like this amazing, you know, artsy director. Right. He was kind of looked at like a, you know, just mainstream, let's make money-making kind of films director. Mm-hmm. And you hear a lot of that in the documentary, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense. That's not surprising, but it's like, it's easy to forget that, like, now knowing after he made things like Schindler's List and Lincoln. Right.
And there's a movie I need to watch again, Schindler's List.
Yeah, God, I haven't seen that in a long time.
I have to say, watching that documentary, I'm sitting watching going, oh my God, I haven't watched Schindler's List in, I mean, a long time. And I'm like, I really need to revisit that film.
And and then it's also reminds me how many, for as much as I love this guy, how in recent years there have been a few films of his I still haven't even seen.
More recently, yeah.
I sadly never saw Bridge of Spies. I never saw War Horse.
Yeah,
I never saw the BFG, though I can't say it's still not really high on the list for me.
I never saw Lincoln.
Oh, you never saw
I haven't
Lincoln?
seen Lincoln.
Wow.
I know. I know. Like, towards the end of this documentary, I'm kind of going, I haven't seen any of these.
And then there's other stuff earlier in his career that I'm like, it's funny. I noted, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I saw, and I'm not surprised by this, but I don't think I saw even one smidgen of a clip from Always, which I actually liked Always.
That's the Richard Dreyfuss,
Yeah.
right? He's a pilot.
The pilot, the fire fighting. Yeah, I
That's
like that movie.
That's not a great movie.
Don't get me wrong. In the filmography of films directed by Steven Spielberg, obviously people will forget Always.
Yeah.
I liked it. And then there was also a point. I think I don't forget her name. There was one critic who said something about Hook. And she definitely said it negatively.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And I remember I'm like, I liked Hook.
I love Hook, actually. I thoroughly enjoy Hook. I still have, I would say I'd even watched Hook in the last 2 or 3 years. And I still sat there just going, what he did to this storyline, to this idea of Peter Pan, was freaking genius. And I will say, there are cheesy moments in it, but at the heart of it, it's a children's movie. It's
so much fun. Anybody that says anything contrary to that is like, it's like, dude, where's your imagination? Like, imagine if Peter did grow up. Like, just imagine. Like, and I think that he really kind of encapsulated that into the movie. And I'm with you. I thoroughly enjoyed Hooked, and I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
I still watch it. I think I've seen it maybe not in the past 2, probably maybe the past 5 years that I have seen that movie.
Yeah, it was interesting because she basically was like, he's had hits. I don't know if she specifically pointed out Hook.
I think I forget the context, but I'm pretty sure she said that was a film that didn't work.
Right, like she was talking about ones that did and ones that didn't, and then that one I think the name was dropped first, and then they even showed a quick clip of the film, and then and I was there going, oh really? You put
I thought it worked just fine
because I thought that one worked good. What I think I was surprised was, and I think I might, as far as film critics go, and I realize we were talking a lot about this documentary. It's Spielberg, goddammit. The one that surprised me, and they spent a decent amount of time on it, is Empire of the Sun.
Yeah.
And I know some of the critics loved that film. I hated that film.
When's the last time you saw it?
I won't say hated. Let me take that back. I hate that film. I thought that film was just incredibly boring. Like, it was so long, and I understand, like, it's this whole, this kid is seeing this war, and he's having this crazy experience, and he's seeing all play in a child's eyes, and he's trying to understand all of this, but I'm watching this film, and I'm like, oh my God, it dragged so much, and I was just, it finished, and I was like, oh, thank God it's done. Like, it just... I thought the pacing of that film was ridiculous, but there was some beauty in that film.
I think for me, I'll admit that because it's been a long time since I've seen Empire of the Sun, but I feel like I kind of dismiss my previous thoughts because I feel like I was too young to appreciate it if it is good. But it's been so long since I've seen it.
I've seen it within the last 7 years.
Okay, well, I have not seen it in the last 7 years, and I'd be curious to watch it again after watching this documentary because it feels like there's a lot of time spent on it because it's one of his earlier works that kind of helped really develop who he is because it came so soon. So yeah, and then sadly, maybe I've seen The Color Purple, but
really?
It's been if I have, I basically need to watch that again. I don't.
Well, I've seen that movie. I don't know how many times.
Yeah,
I've seen that more times than I can probably count. Care to.
Yeah, if I think about it, I've seen The Color Purple front to end, unedited, unstopped, uncut, whatever, twice, and then I've seen it a multitude of times thanks to the Lifetime Network and God only knows what else of randomly jumping into it and then seeing it cut for TV and whatever, yada yada yada. But first of all, and I know that it was a big controversy with him doing this film. A lot of people just kind of said, well, what perspective could you possibly give to this story, Mr. White Jewish dude? That's a lot of people said that almost immediately. And I'm saying that it sounds very like I'm a horrible like person, but that's basically what everybody said. They were like, what do you know? How in the world can you possibly relate to this storyline in any way, shape, or form growing up, in maybe lower middle class America? Like, poor you, like, it's just, I think that was kind of everybody's reaction. And then I feel, and they said this in the documentary, as a whole, though, it turns out he gave that book, that story, which I've also read, a lot of justice, and he did what he could do. And I feel like in the time that movie came out, he did what he could do with that story. There's definitely things in that story that are much harsher than were done or portrayed within the film itself. And you have to realize this was in the late 80s, early 90s. Like, it was that film was pretty controversial in certain contexts as it was. So, I don't know. It's one of those films that kind of, it gets you. Like, it really, and it's not even just the film, but it's the way that story is. That story is very like, it's very heavy on your heart. But I think he did a good job with it, in my opinion. But I know that, right. That was a movie that, all in all, I think a lot of people panned and kind of consider it sort of kind of a flop in a weird way, just because, again, I think everybody looked at him and looked at the story and they went, excuse me, say what?
Right.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, the documentary is Spielberg. It is on HBO right now. So I watched it on HBO now. I recommend checking it out if you're even somewhat of a Spielberg fan. Totally. It's a little long. It's about 2.5 hours long, but I mean, I watched it. I had to watch it in 2 parts just because of life. But
I did too, actually.
It's the kind of movie or documentary that's easy to just stop and pick up again later. So
yeah, the halfway point's right around Schindler's List.
Yeah, it was like right after Schindler's List, going into Jurassic Park, that I had to stop and then come back.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, so yeah, Spielberg. Anybody got anything else before we get to our final segment here? Anyone? Nope.
There was a lot of TV.
Oh, that reminds me. I do have a question. Speaking of TV, but you can go first.
I was just saying, so we're still kind of getting new fall TV shows that are starting up right now. And there's a few that have been like, oh yeah. Like I've been interested in seeing, and I just haven't seen for, whatever reasons in my life, because I'm lame like that now. But, yeah. Like Fox has Gifted, or The Gifted.
Oh.
The X-Men one.
Yeah. I mean, a desire, sadly.
You shut your mouth.
Sorry, I know I'm not, but I love Legion.
Well,
no, I was going to ask, and actually maybe I'll ask you, Jascha, first. I can't remember if we talked about this, but have you watched Star Trek Discovery at all yet?
I have not.
Do you plan to? Do you care?
I'm actually behind.
I mean, I would love to try and get to it, but I don't see it on the horizon anytime soon.
Well, Michelle, I know you've been watching it, but though I think just like
that's a deep sigh of disappointment, David. That was kind of unnecessary.
Wait, what?
That was a deep sigh of disappointment. It felt like you just had there.
Man, I love Star Trek. Of course, I'm disappointed with friends of mine don't watch Star Trek.
Disappointed in you, Jascha.
Oh, so you're not watching it?
So
cool. Let's go on to Michelle. What would she like to say?
Well, I mean, like I didn't watch last week's. And there's an episode that's going to come on tonight. So
now, as if by the time this is posted, I'll be 2 behind.
Right.
But I had been watching it,
yeah.
And you've been watching it. What do you think so far?
Oh my God, I hate when you do this, and I hate the look on your face right now. I feel like this is
what you think so far, Michelle?
This is like the most loaded question. Didn't we discuss this a while ago? Didn't we?
But we've watched episodes since then, so I'm curious.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? I've actually rewatched the first 3 episodes.
Oh, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
hey, I was hanging with my mom. We were watching Star Trek.
Then you're definitely one to give an opinion on this. What you think of Star Trek Discovery, Michelle?
A
few episodes in.
I feel like you're setting me up. And I'm going to say one thing. And honestly, I could be like, I love it. It's the best. You're going to be like, well, I effing hate it. And I'll be like, you know what? I think it's stupid. And you're going to be like, I love it. You're insane. I feel like
are you saying that I would just go the other way just to do so?
I don't think you'd purposely do it, but I feel like that's just my luck.
That's what you think.
I feel like that's my luck with you. I feel like if I were to toss a coin, it doesn't effing matter. It's going to be the opposite. And I just feel like that's what's happening. I'm getting set up.
No, I can feel Jascha rolling his eyes at this conversation between us right now.
No. I'm trying to restrain myself. You're all good.
No. Am I crazy on this, Jascha?
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
No, so no. So are you saying that you're agreeing with what I'm saying here, or you think I'm crazy and you're just afraid to be like, Michelle, you crazy?
I feel like there's no good answer at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, buddy. All right. So
that is a very
Michelle,
that is a very,
Star Trek Discovery.
That is not a good question.
What
Go
do,
ahead.
what do you think of the show so far?
Oh my god. Okay, Star Trek Discovery. Ugh. Okay. There's been last week's episode was the 5th episode, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like I've seen
the one we haven't seen.
I've seen 4. Yeah. So
or a certain character is introduced. Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's the one I missed. Son of a bitch. Okay, sorry. Anyways, so far, having watched the first 4 episodes and having seen the first 3 twice now, I'm enjoying it. I like it. I feel like I'm still getting used to just how advanced looking it is. It just all seems so very shiny and new. I don't, it's almost just like it's almost too Hollywood filmy for the TV industry in me. Like I'm just like, oh, this is just too amazing. And so I'm still very like, I'm not comfortable with it. And I'm saying that though, and I'm kind of liking where the story's going. And there's a character that I feel is insanely predictable, which is a shame. But overall though, I am enjoying it. Like there was a connection that was made between some stuff that's been going on, and I was like, well, that's a hell of a connection. And it humanizes some people and it demonizes others, and I was like, huh, all right. I don't know. I overall I'm enjoying it, and I think I'm enjoying the writing, and I'm enjoying some of the characters that they're building. But I'm still very like, this is just, it's almost just too shiny and new still. I'm still just like, whoa, like, and I think the Klingons look really awesome, but it's almost just too movie-ness for me. I'm like, wow, this just doesn't seem like a TV show at all to me.
But I think this is the same conversation we had last time.
So my opinion hasn't changed then.
But so again, your biggest complaint is that it looks too good.
Yes.
I don't understand this complaint, Michelle. I'm sorry.
I realize that on so many other like subjects or topics or genres, I would be like
you want them to pull it back a bit. You want them to
I almost want them to pull it back a notch or two. Like it's almost just like, what? This is a TV show, and it bothers you. Other TV show I watched look like shit. Like I was watching something else and I was like, God, look at that. It's almost
so
gritty looking.
Let me see if I understand this correctly.
So maybe you can figure this out.
And bothered because the production quality is just too damn good.
Yes.
All right.
Do you understand why you feel that way? Because I don't know that you do.
I want to make sure I'm understanding this right. The special effects are just way too realistic. They're in space, goddammit. I just don't feel like this is something that I can get behind.
I don't know if I'm
Am I following? Like, that's where we're going with that, right? That's what we're essentially arguing about.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm just so used to the way like Next Gen looked, and even the original, everything just kind of has a grittiness to it. But this just is so like clean and refined and shiny, and it's just. I'm like, I don't know. And
it is, but
I watch other TV shows, and honestly, my other shows now, I'm like, God, this looks like shit. Like, I'm like, oh my God, the production value is so
to be clear about the way you're describing it now, though, to someone who hasn't watched the show, and correct me if you, or tell me if you disagree with me. Yes, it looks very good. The production quality is very good. But to be clear, this isn't a matter of it looks too bright and shiny. I mean, to me, it is a very dark look about it.
I will say the colors theme is very dark. Yeah.
I don't think this is a matter of your complaint being that, oh, it's too bright. And I mean, because shit, look at the bridge of the Enterprise D and Next Gen. I mean, that's very literally bright.
No,
and that's not the case here.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right. I know that's not what you're saying. I just want to make sure people who haven't watched it understand that that's not what you're saying.
Right. No, I mean the overall color themes throughout everything in here it's very dark. It's definitely heavily in dark blue hues and grays and no. I mean, but what I'm saying is it's just everything's just so crisp in a way, and it's so high def, and it's just like it's like I said, like I've watched a couple other TV shows that I normally watch, and I'm like, God, this looks like shit. I'm like, why? I don't know.
Well.
All right, here goes.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I am kind of unsure about the show at this point. Like, I was gung ho after those first 2 episodes. Like, I'm digging this totally. And don't get me wrong, I'm totally still watching the show.
What did the Klingons do to upset you?
No, I love the Klingons. I like the way they look. I like everything about that. It's just I have to say, and this is not a spoiler to say, that those first 2 episodes are very different from the rest of the show.
Yes.
You are basically on one ship those first 2 episodes with a certain crew, and the rest of the show is now on another ship, the Discovery, and with a very different crew, though some of the crew members from that first ship are now on this ship.
It all kind of works out like that.
But
is it because the quality of the ship gets better, Dave?
It does. It improves.
It's just... Man, this ship is just too good. Like, I really feel like feel like they literally shot this in space with cameras. Like, they actually built a ship, and I can't take that.
Have they beamed anywhere yet? Because that technology hasn't been released to the public yet.
If only we did video.
This is too much fun for me. I gotta stop. I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm sorry. I'm done.
I'm not. The direction the show has taken since those first 2 episodes, it is very dark. Like, it's a very dark show so far, especially for Star Trek. And I'm not sure what I think. I don't know what I think about the kind of direction of. It's basically a show that is really it's very much about the drama within the ship itself, and it's not the kind of Star Trek show where they are literally going out and exploring things and coming across new things. It's just very much internal drama,
right? And
that is very different for a Star Trek show. And I'm not saying I'm against it, but it's funny, the crew and the experience you had in those first 2 episodes. I was like, I like this. I would totally continue to watch this show, and I knew that was going to change, and it did. And I'm keeping an open mind, but I don't know what I think so far.
Do you think it's because it's so almost against? And I'm totally not going to use my Star Trek jargon, with this, but it's just not what. It's not
the Roddenberry vision kind of thing.
No, I'm talking more the actual idea. It's the God, I can't think of it now. I think because right now the plot in a way is going in such a way that it seems so against what the idea of Starfleet is about, and that's understanding, and it's about camaraderie, and it's about, I don't know. I think it's,
and well,
is that kind of what you're? Yeah. Is that part of it?
No, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely hey, I love Star Trek. I think I've loved it since I was very, very young, but I've also never been a purist, like, oh man, it's got to be just this and the kind of people who hated like the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek. And I love that movie. And
oh my God.
I don't care. I think it's great. I'm a Trekkie, but I still love that too. And I still love this, but no, I don't know if it's so much that specifically. I don't know.
I think that's what's going to be interesting, is how the direction of this is going is so, and a lot of it's because of one of the characters, is pulling away from basically what Starfleet is all about, and the mission of what their core is and their belief system is. And I think that's kind of what's going to hit a lot of people is what?
And then with that, there's of course a lot of theories about why we're seeing that and what we're getting out of the show and what, say, universe we are actually in here. And I don't want to get into those kind of theories now, but if some of those theories plays out, I'll just say that will be very interesting, but I don't know what I think of that either, because I think you may alienate a lot of people who would have no idea about these kind of maybe separate universes within Star Trek and be like, wait, what the fuck?
Right.
Anyway. So I was just curious because we're like basically halfway through this kind of first half of the season, and
Right.
yeah, I don't know what I think of it. Anyway, with that, let's move into our final little segment here, and that is a segment we like to call "I Challenge You." And every week, one of us challenges another member of the podcast to watch something they haven't seen before. They probably didn't see it for who knows what reason. Either they just didn't want to, they never got around to it. Doesn't really matter. And last episode, Jascha, you challenged Michelle to watch a horror film. We've been kind of challenging each other to watch horror films for the past few episodes in the spirit of Halloween. And Michelle, what did you have to watch this week?
Well, Jascha challenged me to a gem of a film.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna lie. There was a big part of me that was sitting there watching it going, huh, does Amazon do refunds on rentals? I don't know.
Oh wow.
Wow.
I was like, I wonder if
Deep, Michelle. That's deep.
what if I get my $225 back?
I will Venmo you the $225, okay, Michelle? I will Venmo you the $2, damn it.
It's cool because I'm saying that, and at the same time,
it cool though? Is it cool? You're making me feel like a real asshole right now. It was totally unnecessary. Like I thought. Anyways, go ahead with your review.
So what you
I
watch?
almost want to be like, so Jascha, what's your quick 30-second review of this film? Because I'm almost curious where his stance is on this.
What film were we talking about?
Okay. Anyways, let's go back to that. So Jascha challenged me to The Hamiltons. Woohoo! It came out in 2006. It is rated R, drama, horror, thriller. It's directed and written by, and I'm not even joking, the Butcher Brothers.
Yes. This is going to be awesome.
Otherwise known as Mitchell Altieri and Phil Flores. Okay. And here's the thing, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm watching it, and the whole time they've just billed themselves as the Butcher Brothers. They don't actually like give each other's names. They're just billed as the Butcher Brothers for everything. And I'm like,
and the credits and everything.
Oh, the front and the ends.
Nice.
I was like, wow, y'all
Just
are owning this.
Yeah.
You are owning this one.
It almost sounds like I'm gonna call myself T-Bone, like just a regular. Like you're giving yourself a nickname, and it's like nobody else is calling you the Butcher Bros, bro. It's just I don't know why you guys insist on that.
I will say, as you scroll like through their IMDb and you look at their filmography of films they've directed, pretty much everything they've done, the poster artwork basically looks like direct to DVD, just kind of really low grade horror film. The Hamiltons is the one film that I will say that poster, it looks a little higher quality film, like just on the look of the poster. I'm like, okay, if I were to look at pretty much every film they've ever made, I'd pick that one.
Right.
It has hope.
I will say, looking at this poster, it's like, wow, that's a solid horror film right there, my friends. I will say the first minute and 30 seconds of the film really quickly changes your opinion very fast.
Wow, that fast.
Oh my God. Whew. Like, it was literally, God, gosh, I'm so sorry. This is going to be so bad. I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like watching, like, Dawson Leary does this for his senior high school project. Yep. That's like, you're getting these very stereotypical shots and angles and sound effects. And I was like, whoa, we haven't even gotten to the starting titles yet. Like, whoa, like I'm already like, this is not good. Can I start day drinking now? Like, I was like, okay, it's cool. Maybe that front segment that's just what that is. It's fine, and it's all gonna advance. And yeah, it just doesn't. It is a low budget film. It's a low budget horror film. So the quick thing is basically it's this family of siblings who are orphaned now. Their parents have died from whatever situation occurred. And now the oldest is trying to take care of the younger ones. And I say younger ones, and they're all, I think they're trying to portray late teens, and they're all really in their 20s. So yeah, so you're just kind of watching them, and there's just a lot of tension between them, as you can see very quickly in the film. Yeah, so I guess their family's special, and they harbor some like hidden family secret that they're all kind of keeping. And the youngest one that the film is basically viewpointed off of, he plays the character of Francis. He's really struggling with the way that they live their life, their lifestyle, and what the secrets are. And he's starting to question, like, do I want to stay in this? Do I want to belong in this? So that's the most humanizing thing I can talk about. Like, oh God. Okay, so there's moments I'm watching this and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a low-grade porno film created by a couple of high school dudes that freshman year in college were like, dude, we got legit cameras now. Let's do this. We're going to make this scene play out finally. You know, it just was... There were just things that were not even necessary for the storyline. And I was just like, why the fuck does this matter? Like, and I don't know if it was an attempt to create like depth for some of the characters. It's just, there was no rhyme or reason to a lot of the things. Anyways, in the end, you get the big reveal of what's really happening. And it was bizarre. They kind of made it cutesy kind of at the end. It's kind of this like Heidely ho, one big happy family thing at the end. And I was like, huh. But not in a like, whoa, that is so twisted. Oh my God, that is so wrong. I can't believe. Oh Jesus, no. God, no, why? It was like, oh, look at them. Good on you guys. Like, you almost were like, oh, I'm so happy you all resolved your differences. Happy little family. Like, it was bizarre. It wasn't, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jascha. This one, yeah, that was kind of sad. And
hey, that's okay.
Very predictable. Very predictable. Very predictable.
I remember liking it. I remember
Have you seen it since the first time?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That might be it, and okay, you don't need to completely continue with the thrashing. Right. Message received, they don't like it. Okay? Like, I get it.
Yeah, sure. You need...
From what I remember, like I said, from what I remember, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought the way that it ended was kind of creative. I thought it was a little weird. Some of the scenes that I know you're talking about, yeah, totally unnecessary. It was very weird and it was very offsetting. But for whatever reason, I remember thinking like, oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of dig this movie. And I was like, I think that this would be something. And I know it was a very low budget film. Yeah. It was part of something that they were doing out here in Orange County at the AMC. It was like 8 horror movies that you should definitely see. And it was all like, I think it's the way that AMC tries to get like independent filmmakers to get some of their stuff out there.
Right.
So I know that's what it was. And I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I should give that a shot. And I remember watching it. I was like, well, that wasn't too bad. That was kind of creative and whatnot. I have not seen it since, 13 years ago, whenever it came out, 2006, excuse me. So not even that long ago.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years ago. So maybe my opinion would change on it. But I remember kind of enjoying the way that it ended and how it stopped, and I was like, oh, this might be a good one for Michelle. I mean, yeah, I do remember it being kind of corny and being very campy and whatnot, but I thought you would at least kind of enjoy it. That message is received that you did not enjoy it, and I am hearing you loud and clear, and I will think twice next time before making any type of referral and or challenge to you when it comes to seeing a movie.
Including referrals. You're cut off, Michelle.
Apparently. Here's the thing. One, I think, Jascha, you almost need to sit back down with this one and, do it with like a couple of friends, have some popcorn, get some good beers, and just have a good laugh. And you guys will have a good time. And I'm saying that, one, I really hope you do that. I really hope you revisit this film, and then maybe you could be like, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking? Because it's a good I can see it's one of those films, and I'll be honest. I feel like had I seen this at the time it was released, One, because of my age, but two, just because of the time. And I would have been like, I can appreciate it for this value and that value and this value. And then if I would like to revisit it like I did today, I'd have been like, what the hell was I smoking that day? But it's funny. Like, I would be able to sit down and watch it and laugh and make jokes about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because there's films now, and I can't think of it on the top of my head now, but like there's films that I liked back, you know, from 2001 or whatever, and I liked them then, and I've gone back and rewatched them 10 years later and been like, what the hell did I have a cold? Was I taking prescription medications?
Oh yeah, no, I've had movies like that too, where I've gone back and I'm like, dude, I really like this movie. Like,
right, right, and you're like, I feel bad because I think I've actually referenced this, and I feel like I've told people to see this. Like, why have I? And I think this might just be one of those films where at the time you're like, yeah. And then if you go back later, you're like, what was I feverish? And we all have those films. We all have those films. I think that just might be one of them. I will say, though, if people are looking for a film that they kind of just want to get a group of friends together one night and have some beers and throw popcorn at the TV screen, this would be it. It's a good giggle snort in a lot of ways. Yeah, that's what I would go with.
All right. Now I got to see this.
I almost wish you'd seen it with me.
I kind of want to see where I stand
now. You and I would have just been giggling like little children.
Now I got to check this out.
I feel like you and I would have had eye rolls that would have just gone on for miles. It just like...
Well,
it's so funny.
Michelle, that means you now have the honor of challenging somebody else. Bobby's not here. You can still challenge him. I'm sure we can get a hold of him.
No, and I know that. The thing is, it's difficult because I feel like, you know, the three of you guys for sure. You guys are really into horror films, and you guys see a lot of them, and you guys are pretty up to date on them. And I enjoy horror films, but I don't really ever go out of my way to go see them. I was just kind of stumble on them, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So like, I feel like anything I've seen, I know for a fact you've seen. Like, there just aren't very many horror films that I could go, I've seen that and you haven't? You're kidding me, right?
I'm sure
like,
there's some, though.
Well, there was the one last week that I was surprised none of you had seen. And that was, it was that one that was a Japanese film that redid in America. I can't think of the title because now I'm going to kick myself. Never Let Me Go? No.
Oh.
Let Me In?
Yeah.
Let the Right One In. There it is. Let the Right One In. And you guys all had said you hadn't seen that one. So yeah, I don't know. And it's hard. I'm like, do I challenge them to that? Because we had that discussion last time. Or do I try to figure something else out? And it's like, I'm also just at a loss of who to challenge this week too. I'm like, who should I challenge? Part of me wants to challenge Bobby just because he's not here. Just be a jerk. Be like, you didn't show up. You get challenged. Default. Anyways, so you never saw that one, huh?
I never saw the Japanese or whatever the original is, and I never saw the American version.
No.
I have not.
I wonder if it's even available for you to watch it somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. We can make that happen.
Can I challenge two people? No, just kidding. I guess I could always just challenge Jascha for what he just did to me.
Oh, let's not start that game.
Ugh, paybacks.
It's back and forth.
It is back and forth. Actually, for funsies, and again, we're getting up to Halloween, and I'd recommend anybody do this. So I decided to Google Google best horror films in the last 10 years. Right? Just be like, let's see if there's anything I've missed, you know? And there's one on here that I have not heard of. Have you guys ever heard of this film called Inside?
Inside?
No.
I haven't either.
No.
This is what this article says. Best pregnancy thriller since Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like, dear God, please don't say my name. Please don't tell me to watch this film. I gotta say though, this review is quite awesome. It says seriously demented imagery, but not before setting up the scares with a technical efficiency that's downright Hitchcockian. I was like, dude, well, that's entertaining. And And it's like, part of me is like, I would like to challenge Bobby to watch Inside, but I don't know if he's seen it or not.
Yeah, that's the tough part with it not being here.
It is. So I'm going to challenge David to watch it.
I'm watching Inside.
You can watch Inside.
All right.
I'm giving you this challenge. I have not seen this film.
Yeah, okay.
It's just,
Looks like
again, I Googled a list of, 10 best horror films in the last 10 years. And it was on this list. And it was number 3 on this list that I pulled up. And like I said, I was reading this review of it. And I was like, well, damn, that's, well, shoot. That sounds amazing.
Looks like it's a French film.
Yes.
So it looks like I'll be reading some subtitles, which is fine.
You're totally down with that, though.
Oh, I like subtitles. That's cool. Yeah. Inside. All right.
It's you.
You got it.
You know the worst part of this is I know you've got like 5 films lined up to like throw back at me one day.
Oh, I've got stuff ready to go.
I know. That's the sad part.
I'm
Is I
ready.
know that I'm going to get this probably tossed right back.
No, we definitely have to record next weekend because I'm ready. I'm ready to challenge you back.
Oh, Lord. So, Jascha, you're off the hook.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
And again, it's like that film, it was funny. Like, at one point, I just had to laugh at it. It's just funny.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for your take on
The Hamiltons.
With that, next weekend we should be back. What do we got coming out next weekend?
I have no idea what films come out next weekend, but do you know what comes out on Netflix this Friday?
That would be Stranger Things 2, of course. That's really what comes out next weekend. But if you're going to go to a
anything
movie
else really matter?
Jigsaw comes out if you're a big Saw fan.
It was until they ground it into the ground and made it shit.
Yeah, no, it was. I liked it too, but yeah, it went too far.
This is ridiculous. Yeah. I'm really no interest in seeing the Jigsaw movie.
I don't either. The new George Clooney directed film Suburbicon comes out next weekend.
Ooh, I want to see that.
Oh, that one did look pretty interesting.
Yeah, that does look pretty good. And then a couple other films. All I See Is You. I've never heard of it. Looks like with Blake Lively. Am I reading that right? And Thank You for Your Service. Looks like Miles Teller in that. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's coming out next weekend, and we'll be back to talk about some of those. We'll definitely be talking about Stranger Things.
God, it's gonna be a Stranger Things 2 episode. Like I put money on it now. Oh my God. It's gonna be so
I
good.
fully plan on having it all watched by the time we record. We'll see how that plays out, but
it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. If it means I get no sleep because I have to watch it at night while the kids are sleeping, then fine.
Who needs sleep when you're watching Stranger Things?
What?
I'm okay. I feel like I'm excited for this. Jascha is very quiet on the Stranger Things front.
Oh no! Don't get me twisted. Don't get twisted. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Okay.
You know what I'm actually going through my head is like, what's my week going to be like, so that I have enough time to just sit there and watch TV all day on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's just what my week. That's literally what I was just thinking about. I'm like, what can I do ahead of time so that Friday night's done, and I can just watch TV on Friday night and not get up, and just get up, have breakfast, and watch like 6 to 8 hours of television on Saturday.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's gonna happen this weekend.
Yeah. I just need to make sure that my week is clear. That's
Right.
literally what I was just thinking about. I was like, okay.
Priorities, baby. You take care of business.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, you want to hang out? No, dude. Stranger Things. Oh, right. Well, shit.
Yeah.
So that's literally what I was thinking about, is like trying to just put it together.
Nice. But yeah, we got that next weekend. The week after is Thor Ragnarok already.
Yes. Everybody's got their tickets. Everybody's got their
I
tickets
will
right.
make sure I'm in the theater for that. I will be in the theater for.
Yeah.
And I will see that either Friday night or Saturday morning.
Get your tickets.
Yeah, we're seeing what? I think we're seeing a Thursday night showing, I think.
Are we doing Thursday night?
Yeah, I think we are.
I don't know. I make you buy the tickets now.
Yeah, I buy the tickets.
I'm lazy now.
I got this. You know, our big Flickr Effect budget here.
I just go with it now. I just go with it. Like, I'm like, you tell me where I'm going and what time, and I'll be there, and I'll buy you a beer to pay you back. That's the deal. That's the deal we have now. I'm just so lazy. I'm like, I'll just buy a beer when we get there. We'll call it even Stevens.
All right, with that, it's time to get out of here. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone listening. You can let us know what you think by emailing us at feedback@flickereffect.com. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and all that good stuff. You can find links to those accounts on our website. Just look over on our right-hand side. I'm David Lott.
I'm Jascha Wilson.
Not Michelle Hillard.
Thanks for listening.
Shout out to Bobby.